Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. Alhamdulillahi Rabbil Alameen. Wassalatu wassalamu ala Sayyidina Rasulillah wa ala alihi wa sahbihi at-tayyibin at-tahirin. All right, now we are in the next chapter in Al-Aajurroomiyyah. We're just going over the text, the metin. And the author says, may Allah have mercy upon him, Babul I'raab, chapter of I'raab. Babul I'raab, the chapter of I'raab. So the Bab, that's the chapter. Bab is a portal. What's a portal? A door, a doorway. So the Bab is a portal from one subject to the next subject. So it's a chapter. Babul I'raab, the chapter of I'raab. So Al-I'raab, this is exclusive to Arabic language. But you're able to approximate it in some other language. I'd say here, I'raab translates as case. So I'll show you. He says, Al-I'rabu huwa taghyiru awakhiril kalim. I'raab, it is the altering, taghyir. Taghyir means to change something else. Huwa taghyiru awakhiril kalim. It is the altering of the endings of the words. So you say the ending of the word means you're not talking about the beginning of the word or the middle of the word. The endings of the words. It is the alterings of the endings, the altering of the endings of the words. Why would the endings of the words change? لِاخْتِلَافِ الْعَوَامِلِ الدَّاخِلَةِ عَلَيْهَا. Because of, that's lam there. The ikhtilaf, the difference, the differing, the varying, awamil, workers, agents, influencing words, words that influence other words. These words are agents, whether it's a noun or a verb or a particle. If this word has some power to influence another word, then it's called amila. Amila means a worker. So sometimes we're going to say an agent, or we might say a governing word, or an influencing word, or something like that. Al-awamili dakhilati alayha, those agents that enter upon the word. Ad-dakhilati alayha, those agents that enter upon the word. Like what? Like you say, for example, you say ضرب زيد عمرا. زيد عمرا. ضرب زيد عمرا. That means Zaid struck Amr. So why are we saying Zaydun and not Zaydan or Zaydin? And why are we saying Amran, not Amrun or Amrin? Because of whatever's influencing these words. In this case, daraba is influencing both of these words. So daraba here is the amil or the amila. It is the agent. It is the influencing word. In one case, it made a word take a dhamma because it's a verb. Daraba, it's a verb. And a verb needs a doer, a fa'il. The verb is an action. And the action needs an actor, a fa'il. And the fa'il, its position in the sentence is always marfu', nominative. Its case in the sentence. Its case in the sentence is always nominative, marfu'. And so that means it's going to have a dhamma. In simple terms for you right now, daraba needs a doer, and the doer is going to have a dhamma, or something that replaces a dhamma. And daraba, the meaning of striking, intrinsically dictates a receiver. Not only a striker, but also a struck one. If there's a strike, then there's a striker and someone struck. Someone or something struck. So this verb also is requiring a receiver. And what does it do to a receiver? It gives the receiver a fatha. What does this verb do to a doer? Its doer. What does this verb do to its doer? It gives its doer a dhamma. What does it do to its receiver? It gives its receiver a fatha. So I'm saying it with the simplest words I can at the moment. Or I'll give you another example. You say, Zaydun qa'imun fil bayti. So, what's happening here? Zaydun. Why are we saying Zaydun? We're not saying Zayden or Zaydin, because it's the subject of the sentence. So the subject of the sentence in this case is going to need a dhamma. So we're going to say Zaydun. And this subject needs a predicate. So it's requiring a predicate. So it's influencing something else. This word is influencing this word. Qa'imun. Zayd is a stander. Zayd a stander. Zaydun qa'imun. That right there is a complete sentence. Could stop there. Zaydun qa'imun. Zayd a stander. And then the next word is fi. And that's our harf jar, prepositional particle. So this prepositional particle is influencing this word here. And that's why it's going to take a kasra. Fil bayti. Zaydun qa'imun fil bayti. You can't say fil bayta or fil baytu. That would be a massive, massive blunder. I'll give you a third example. This sentence you know. Muhammadun Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wasallam. So Muhammadun. Why Muhammadun, not Muhammadin or Muhammadan? Because it's the subject of the sentence. So this type of word is going to take a dhamma if it's the subject of the sentence. So then it needs a predicate. The predicate needs a dhamma too, in this case. So you're going to say Muhammadun Rasulu. And so then this word Muhammad is influencing this word Rasulu. And you say Rasulullahi because it's mudaf ilayhi. So that means that this word here is influencing this word because it's the mudaf. The word Rasul is the mudaf, the first part of the genitive construction. The word Allah is the mudaf ilayhi, the second part of the genitive construction, yani possessive construction. Muhammad is the messenger of Allah, or Muhammad is Allah's messenger. So that's the meaning of some words influencing other words, coming upon them. What does he say here? Let's repeat the text. He says, Al-I'rabu, Arabic case if you want, Arabic case, or else doesn't really have a translation. Huwa taghyiru awakhiril kalim. It is the altering of the endings of the words. Why? لاختلاف العوامل الداخلة عليها, due to the varying influencing words that come upon them. So then, to know Nahu and to know how to speak Arabic properly, you need to know what powers any word has. So you know, for example, from what you just took today, that this word, daraba, it basically here has two powers. One is to make a doer have a dhamma, and the other is to make a receiver have a fatha. I'll give you another example. Let's say you said, Qama Zaydun. Zayd stood. Now this sentence is complete. This comma, it is influencing this word, and it does not have the power to give a receiver a fatha. Why not? Because of its meaning. Zayd stood, that's it. Saying Zayd stood is not like saying Zayd struck. What's the difference? Because there's two types of verbs. Some verbs take a direct object, and some verbs do not take a direct object. All verbs, all regular verbs, they need a doer. But not all verbs need a receiver. So all of those verbs, they ain't going to have the power to give a doer a dhamma. They're not all going to have the power to give a receiver a fatha, though. Depends on the meaning of the verb. So when you learn Arabic, you need to know what powers does any given word have. That's what you'll learn here, so that you can put the proper endings on your words. And Arabic being formulated this way enhances your ability to express yourself, enhances your ability to express double meanings, or even more than double meanings. Okay. So, Al-I'rabu huwa taghyiru awakhiril kalim. I'rab is the altering of the endings of the words. لاختلاف العوامل الداخلة عليها, due to the varying agents that come upon them. Now I'll give you a benefit here. It may be if someone's just learning Nahu, what he would be taught is that the word that's affecting the other word is in front of it. But that's not a condition. So, for example, here, if I say daraba, Zaydun, Amran. So you know what's happening there. We already covered this sentence. What if I say Zaydun ضرب عمرا. Or what if I say زيد عمرا ضرب? Or what if I say عمرا زيد ضرب? Or what if I say عمرا ضرب زيد? Let's look at the last one here. عمرا ضرب زيد. So Amran, since it has fatha, means what? It's receiver. So that means being influenced by what's after it in this case. And here Zaydun has dhamma, means it's doer. It's influenced by what's in front of it. Any question? Then the author says, لفظا أو تقديرا. لفظا أو تقديرا. How does that affect the meaning or emphasis? Let's come back to that, inshallah. But general answer, use the word order to determine the focus. The focus is where the emphasis is. So in one of those sentences, the verb is going to be the focus. In one of them, the receiver is going to be the focus. In one of them, etc. So the author says, لَفْظًا أَوْ تَقْدِيرًا, which means pronounced or estimated. Pronounced or estimated. What's pronounced or estimated? The changing of the ending of the word. The changing of the ending of the word is pronounced or estimated. So, for example, you say, جاء الفتى, and رأيت الفتى, and مررت بالفتى. So, جاء, that's a verb, past tense verb, needs a doer. The doer should have a dhamma. Al-fata means the lad. So the lad came. The lad came. So that means the lad then is the doer of this verb. The doer of a word like this should have a dhamma. Ja al-fata. Where's the dhamma? We are unable to pronounce this dhamma here because the last letter is an alif. So in this case, it's taqdira. It's estimated. The dhamma in this case is estimated. That means intended. You have this dhamma merely in your heart. In this case, you are unable to pronounce this dhamma with your tongue. But the judgment of that dhamma is there. So we say, جاء فعل ماض, past tense verb, مبني على فتح ظاهر. It's built with an obvious fath. Al-fata, fa'il. Al-fata is the doer. Marfu', nominative or subjective. وعلامة رفعه, and its sign of being nominative. Dhammatun is a dhamma. But what kind? Muqaddarah. Dammatun muqaddaratun, an estimated dhamma. That means an intended one only. Why it doesn't show up? Mana'a min zuhurihi ta'azzur. What prevents its appearance is the inability. And so here, ra'aytul fata, I saw the fata. So I saw, this verb, it needs a direct object. And the direct object, if it's this kind of word, would usually be, it would be a fatha. Ra'aytul fata. But we cannot pronounce this fatha here. Lita'adhur, due to the inability. The inability to put a vowel on an alif. Because a true alif is intrinsically or by definition sakin. A true alif is by definition sakin, vowelless. So there is no way to put a vowel on a true alif. So then we're going to say al-fata, maf'ulun bihi, direct object. Mansub, accusative. Wa alamatu nasbihi, and its sign of being accusative is fatha. A fatha? Yes. Fathatun muqaddara, an implied fatha, an intended one. Mana'a min zuhurihi ta'azzur. What prevents its appearance is inability. And you say marartu bil fata. So the ba is prepositional particle. It needs something to make genitive, yani majroor. So you say marartu bil fata, and in this case, this type of word would take a kasra. You cannot pronounce a kasra on an alif. So you say marartu bil fata al ba, harf jar, prepositional particle. Wal fata ism majroor, object of the preposition. Wa alamatu jarrihi, and its sign of being a genitive is kasratun muqaddara, an implied kasra. Mana'a min zuhurihi ta'adhur. What prevents it from appearing is the inability. Let me give you another example. You say, let's use the same verbs. Ja al-qadi, and ra'aytu al-qadi, and marartu bil-qadi. So, ja al-qadi, you notice here I didn't put dots on the ya. That's the original way to write the ya. And that's how Sheikh Samir writes his ya at the end of the word yani. And some publishers, sometimes they do like that. Don't be surprised if you find a publication without dots on the ya. Don't be surprised. Say, yeah, that's fine. Like the Mus'haf, yani. And I used to do like that. And then when I studied overseas, some professors would dock you if you didn't put the dots on the ya. So then became a habit for me to restore the dots on my ya. But used to be my habit not to put dots on the ya. Those professors will dock you if you don't put dots on the ya And also, if you don't put the hamzatul qata', they'll dock you. And some other things that they're looking for. So, al-qadi, in this case, do you say ja al-qadiyu? You don't say ja al-qadiyu. Rather, you say ja al-qadi. So, also here you have an estimated dhamma. That's the meaning of what's in the metin. Lafdhan aw taqdira. The i'rab will be lafdhan, pronounced, like the first examples you took. Or taqdira, or estimated, like what you're taking now. So you'd say about qadi, يعني جاء فعل ماض, past tense verb, مبني على فتح, built with the fath. Al-qadi fa'il. Al-qadi is the doer. Marfu' in the nominative case. وعلامة رفعه, and its sign of rafa' is ضمة مقدرة على الياء, an estimated dhamma on the ya. منع من ظهوره ثقل, and what prevents this dhamma from appearing is the heaviness. Not ta'adhur, not inability. You do have the physical ability to pronounce a dhamma on a ya. Unlike an alif, you do not have the physical ability to pronounce a dhamma on an alif. So the reason the sign doesn't appear there is ta'adhur, inability. The reason the dhamma doesn't appear here is athiqal, heaviness. What does that mean? It means for the old Arabs, the dhamma was heavy on a ya. So they didn't like to say ja al-qadiyu, although they could say it. Since that was too heavy for them, for their preferences. And that's a figure of speech to say it's too heavy for their preference. That's a figure of speech. Because that's the Arabic language, actually. But this is the reason. So when I say that's the Arabic language, means the Arabs didn't make it up. You know, the Arabic language is by revelation. So I'm saying that's their preference. That's figure of speech. They had a knack for Arabic. Those old Arabs had a knack for Arabic. They had a natural inclination, or a natural disposition rather. They had a natural disposition for the Arabic language. So they then omitted this dhamma and said, Ja al-qadi. And the reason the dhamma doesn't show up is athiqal, heaviness. The heaviness of a dhamma on a ya. And you say, Ra'aytul qadiya. In this case, the fatha does appear. So you say, al-qadi, in this case, maf'ulun bihi, direct object. Mansub, accusative. وَعَلَامَةُ نَصْبِهِ فَتْحَةٌ ظَاهِرَةٌ, and its sign of nasb is here an obvious fatha. Why does the fatha show up here and the dhamma doesn't show up? لِخِفَّتِهَا, because the fatha is light. The dhamma is heavier than a fatha. So the ya, it can hold the fatha more, like easier. The ya can hold the fatha easier than it can hold the dhamma. So the fatha will appear. So that's like normal case here. There's nothing abnormal here. This is, in this case, i'rabun lafzi, pronounced i'rab. You're gonna say the fatha. And then this one here, marartu bil qadi. I passed bil qadi, by Qadi means judges, inshallah. Bil Qadi, by the judge. So, ba, harf jar, prepositional particle. Al-Qadi, ism majroor, object of the preposition. Wa alamatu jarrihi, and its sign of jar, of being genitive, is kasratun muqaddarah, an estimated kasrah. Mana'a min zuhurihi athiqal. What prevents that kasrah from showing up is the heaviness. And you're going to find, inshallah, some other cases of i'rab taqdiri. Haven't covered them all for you. I'll give you another example. Here, take this one too. You say, for example, let's say, جاءت أمي, and رأيت أمي. And مررت بأمي. Okay, so أمي, let's parse this. جاءت, جاء فعل ماض, past tense verb, مبني على فتح, built with a فتح, والتاء للتأنيث, and the ta is for femininity. It's a sign for femininity. It's not a pronoun. It's a sign. جاءت, that's ta'u ta'nith as-sakina. She came. Who's she? Ummi, my mother. Is fa'il, doer. Marfu' in the nominative case. وَعَلَامَةُ رَفْعِهِ, and its sign of being in the nominative case is ضَمَّةٌ مُقَدَّرَةٌ, an estimated ضمة. منع من ظهوره اشتغال المحل بالحركة المناسبة. What prevents the dhamma from appearing is the spot being occupied by a more appropriate vowel, which is here the kasra. Why the kasra is a more appropriate vowel? Because here is mudaf, first part of genitive construction. Wal ya, this ya here is ضمير متصل, a suffixed pronoun. مبني على السكون, it's built with a sukun. في محل جر, it's in the genitive slot. It's in the genitive slot, the slot for what's majrur. Mudafun ilayhi, because it's the second part of the genitive construction. Mine, my mother. Ja'at ummi, my mother came. And then like that, you're going to say for the rest. Ra'aytu ummi, I saw my mother. So ummi is going to be maf'ulun bihi, direct object, mansub, yani maf'ulun bihi, direct object mansub, in the accusative case, wa alamatu nasbihi, its sign of nasb is fathatun muqaddarah, an estimated fatha. منع من ظهورها اشتغال المحل بالحركة المناسبة. What prevents that fatha from appearing is the spot being occupied by a more appropriate vowel. Why that's the more appropriate vowel? Because of the ya. The most appropriate vowel for a ya is a kasra. This ya itself has a sukoon. Ya with a sukoon. What's the most appropriate vowel to precede a ya with a sukoon? Kasra. So this ya comes along with its kasra. Yani, here, this ya is a pronoun coming along with its own kasra that's going on the meme and having its own sukoon. And even here, bi ummi, I pass by my mother. So, ba is harf jar, prepositional particle. Ummi is a majroor, object of the preposition. Wa alamatu jarrihi kasratun muqaddara. Its sign of jar is an estimated kasra. Mana'a min zuhuriha. If I said previously mana'a min zuhurihi, that's a mistake. If I said fatha or kasra or dhamma, that's feminine. And then I said mana'a min zuhurihi. If I said that, that's a mistake. Mana'a min zuhuriha. What prevents that kasra from appearing is ishtighalu al-mahalli bil-harakati al-munasiba. The spot being occupied by a more appropriate vowel, which is a kasra. That's clear? Inshallah, that's clear for you. Who wants to ask me about that last case? Very good. Let's cover one more sentence here. The author says, وَأَقْسَامُهُ أَرْبَعَةٌ. Its divisions are 4, or its categories are 4. What's it? أَقْسَامُهُ. It refers to al-i'rab. وَأَقْسَامُ الْإِعْرَابِ أَرْبَعَةٌ are 4. Rafa', nominative case or subjective case, or nasb and accusative case, wa khafd and genitive case, wa jazm, and I'm not going to translate it, jazm, in the case of jazm, although some people have offered translations. What does that mean? This means that a sentence which its function is to convey a meaning, it has numerous segments, possible segments. Like, your sentence could have a verb and a doer and a direct object and the object of the preposition, and I can keep going. It might have other things going on in there. So I could say, for example, akala. Akala. He ate. Who ate? Let's say Khalid. Khalidun. Khalid ate. And you recognize that this type of word, this type of verb, akala, it needs direct object. So, akala Khalidun ta'aman, food. Khalid ate food, and then we might put fi, for example, a harf, a particle. A particle is like inside the sentence, the particle's in limbo. It's not filling a space in the sentence. The particle is not in any sentential or syntactical position. So it's like it's not in a space within the sentence. Fi here, let's say al-matbakhi, in the kitchen. في المطبخ. أكل خالد طعاما في المطبخ. Right here in the example I gave you, we have something that's in the state of rafa, accusative case. And we have something in the state of nasb. Rafa, nominative case. And we have something in the state of nasb, accusative case. And we have something here in the state of jar or khafd, genitive case. So in English then, if we were to say Khalid ate food in the kitchen, then what we're saying is Khalid is in the nominative case or subjective case. Yani is basically marfu', as if Khalid has a dhamma here. Akala ate. Now actually the verb here, it doesn't have a syntactical space. Food, so food here is direct objects, it's accusative. It's as if it has a fatha, but English doesn't have signs. And then in does not have a syntactical space. The kitchen, let's just regard that like one word. Just for argument's sake, let's regard the kitchen like one word. And then we're going to pretty much right now ignore the. So kitchen is object of the preposition. It's as if, so it's what? Kitchen then is genitive. It's as if the word kitchen has a kasra on it. And the sentence can bear more than this. This is just very simple sentence for you. So the author says, وَأَقْسَامُهُ أَرْبَعَةٌ. Its divisions are four, or categories. رَفْعٌ وَنَصْبٌ وَخَفْضٌ وَجَزْمٌ. Nominative, accusative, genitive, and jazm. Okay. Now we're going to stop there so that inshallah next week we'll build on that. You need to study that. Right now, brothers and sisters, if you want to be successful in these lessons, study this information. Commit the metin to memory. And your notes, repeat them. Read them out loud to yourself and repeat them like 3 times per day. Or really, just memorize your notes. Review this like 3 times per day, whatever we took today. And even if you reviewed it 1 time per day, that's better than nothing. And then you'll find the fruits of that, inshallah, next week when we start. Any question? He said, would you say for most beginners, would that be a good pedagogical tool? Putting the dots in the hamza al-qata' and removing those dots would be for more advanced students or those more knowledgeable about word and sentence structure. I think if a person is taught, he'll be fine. How does understanding i'rab contribute to the changes of interpretation of sentences? Good question. I'll give you an approximation. when it was said to the kuffar, ماذا أنزل ربك, what did your Lord reveal? قالوا, they said, أساطير الأولين. Let me just erase a little bit here. They said, أساطير الأولين. This is their response to the question. What did your Lord reveal? They said, أساطير الأولين. Tales of the ancients. Fables of the ancients. And when the believers were asked, ماذا أنزل ربك, قالوا خيرا, they said, good. He revealed good. Okay. So, investigate the question. ماذا أنزل ربك, أنزل, what did he reveal? So you know that this is a verb that requires a direct object, right? Yes. So if it requires a direct object, then which haraka should the direct object have? Normally fatha, good. That's a good answer. Fatih, yeah. Fatih is meaning that's the original sign. Okay. So what was the answer of the kuffar? They said, Asatiru. Asatirul awwalin. So what does that mean? Anyone know? The presence of that dhamma. What does that mean? The presence of this dhamma in their answer. The presence of this dhamma in their answer. What does this mean? 5, 4, 3, 2. Someone's typing. 1. I'll give you a chance. Mubtada, that's not what I'm looking for. You said they're answering with a different sentence because the dhamma indicates nominal states. Yes, that's the closest answer. Yani, that's a close answer. That dhamma right there proves that they're not answering the question actually. So the implication here is that they denied that he revealed anything. It doesn't mean that they're saying he revealed tales of the ancients. It means they're saying it's not revelation. It's tales of the ancients. Whereas the believers, their answer has fatha. What did their Lord reveal? Qalu khayra. They said goodness. They're saying he revealed goodness. So they are answering the question and they are confessing that it's revelation. So, why I gave you this example to answer your question? Because, yeah, there's a denial in the first one. If someone thinks that they're saying he revealed tales of the ancients, then there should be a fatha there. So that's my attempt to approximate that for you. Your question was, how does understanding i'rab contribute to changes of interpretation of sentences? So I think that's a good answer for you. Do you want to follow up there? Ameen wa bikum. Subhanaka Allahumma wa bihamdik. Ashhadu an la ilaha illa ant. Astaghfiruka wa atubu ilayk.